Hello and welcome back to another edition of Congleton Chronicled. I'm Mark Edwardson. With me again today is the Deputy Editor of the Congleton Chronicle, James Jackson. James, welcome back.
Hi Mark, good to see you again.
Yeah, we had Mel last week.
Yeah.
You're back this week.
Nice bit of variety.
It is, isn't it, actually?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think Mel did a great job last week, so you've got big boots to fill. You really have. We're looking at the edition from the 2nd of April in 2026 today. And James, on the front page, lovely photograph of lambs.
Yeah, it's that Easter theme,
It is, yeah, it's gorgeous. It's a lovely photograph. But the main copy story is about planning.
Yes.
And whether councillors should or shouldn't be listening so closely to their officers' advice.
Exactly, Mark.
What's happening?
What it's about is the Cheshire East, they paid for a barrister to train the councillors who sit on Cheshire East Planning Committee and make decisions about planning applications.
Yeah.
And basically, we've spoken to the councillors who sat in on that training, and so one of them at least have accused the authority of scaremongering councillors into making decisions they might not necessarily have chosen in the first place.
Oh, right. Scaremongering.
In so much what it's about is where planning officers might have recommended approval for an application, but the local councillor on the committee didn't want to. They opposed it because his local constituents didn't want it, for argument's sake.
Right, okay.
Cheshire East are worried that because they haven't got a local plan, I'll try and explain this a bit further in a minute, a local plan, which means you haven't got a 5-year supply of housing,
right.
The developer might appeal and probably would win.
Yes.
With you because of the tilted balance in favour of sustainable development, because Cheshire East can't prove they have a 5-year supply of housing land.
Right. So councillors are being coached into almost like prejudging.
That's right. One councillor was quoted in the story
which
saying...
is, I mean, I'm a councillor, not a Cheshire East councillor, I want to point out right now. I'm a town councillor, so we've got nothing to do with this, really. But councillors are always told one of the fundamentals is you don't prejudge.
That's right.
You go in, you listen to the debate, you assess the details, you look at it objectively, and then come to a decision.
Yeah, I mean, case in point, Mark, when we at the reporters at the Chronicle get onto a planning story that's going to be discussed in the future, that's been submitted to the council, the reporter might ring the local council to get their view about it, but they'll tell us, I'm not going to speak because I don't want to prejudge, especially if they're sitting on the committee.
Yes.
I don't want to prejudge what I'm going to decide or vote on in the planning committee meeting. But
so this seems
if that's
to go
the
against
case,
that.
Exactly, yeah. So they're getting the barristers giving them this training session, and like our councillor said, they feel being scaremongering into a decision they might not want. I mean, it's a big issue for Cheshire East at the moment, because if they lose at a planning appeal, the loser, as it were, has to foot all the costs of the whole thing, and being a crash-strapped authority, they can't afford to do it.
I was going to say they're struggling enough already, aren't they?
That's right.
Is this to do with, I think you've mentioned it already, the lack of a plan, which effectively gives developers the upper hand?
It does. I mean, the situation at the moment is, the reason is because the government updated its national planning policy framework in December last year, I think it was, or the year before, as part of its policy to build 1.5 million homes over the term of this Parliament.
Yeah.
So councils now are having to fast track to approve the new local plans to increase their housing targets. But in the meantime, while they're doing that, developers are putting in speculative housing applications, knowing that if they're refused by a planning committee and it goes to appeal, the planning inspector is likely to find in their favour.
I mean, the thing is, not that I have much sympathy for developers, don't get me wrong, but if there's no plan, if there's no framework, no structure for them to follow, you can understand why they put speculative
for them,
applications
it's
in.
It's like ringing the dinner bell for more houses, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, years ago when the former Conservative administration ran Cheshire East, and we reported it widely, that they couldn't, when Cheshire East took over from Congleton Borough Council to become a unitary authority, for years, the Conservative-led Cheshire East Council didn't have a local plan in place, and that was because of their own making, and we reported extensively on that. But because of that, again, hundreds of houses were built, more than hundreds of houses were built speculatively because they didn't have a local plan. But for different reasons now, the authority now hasn't got a local plan in place, and the same things happen again.
I was going to say, that was 2009.
Exactly,
but they're still wrestling with the same problem in 2026.
Yeah.
What does that smack of?
Yeah.
What does Cheshire East say about this, though? Have they issued any kind of like defence or?
We asked them to comment, but they didn't get back in time for deadline. I think.
Right. Okay. So
we didn't get a response in that respect.
So maybe next week.
Maybe next week. Yeah.
We should keep our eyes on that. Okay. More controversy this time on page 11, and it's to do with the pipeline that's proposed. Is it called the concrete cluster in Derbyshire out to
nearly
a carbon dioxide store in the Irish Sea?
Yeah, it's the official title of this project, and it's a multi-million-pound project. It's called the Peak Cluster.
Peak Cluster, that's
and
it.
Basically, you were almost there. So basically, Staffordshire has got one of the biggest producers of concrete in the country, in so much it's got concrete plants in Staffordshire. But unfortunately, they produce huge amounts of carbon dioxide as part of the production process. So the Peak Cluster project aims to pipe all this CO2 from the concrete plants mainly on the eastern side of Staffordshire, across North Staffordshire, underground in a pipeline, across Cheshire, and out into cavities beneath the Irish Sea near Morecambe Bay off Liverpool Bay.
Is that where they've extracted gas?
That's
already?
Right. Yeah,
so they've got underground space.
It'll store it for at least 300 years, more than that, and there's vast storage capacity space for CO2. But I mean, we've been reporting on the project for a couple of years now, but now consultation processes are underway, and more local people are getting wind about this project, and obviously it's going to involve digging up land, skirting around Congleton. I mean, just to give viewers here some perspective, so it comes over it skirts around Biddulph, and then skirts around near the Cloud.
Oh, Timbersbrook.
Well, I was going to say it's going through Timbersbrook, and then out towards North Road.
Right.
And then there's some sort of a junction underground near Goresworth.
Right.
And then it goes out towards Holmes Chapel and out across Cheshire then. I mean, it's only at the consultation stage, but we're reporting our local parish councils, in this week's edition, we're reporting our local parish councils are saying that landowners to get legal and professional advice about how to deal with the situation should the project developers once use their land to put this pipe in.
It's an interesting debate, isn't it? It's like sort of what's more important? Is it reduction or is it the saving of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which I don't think most people these days disagree with.
Absolutely not.
However, is the environmental cost of digging up large tracts of the countryside worth it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I think
it depends what they put back, doesn't it?
Does.
It's not going to be like a row of golf courses or something.
No, the concern at the moment, certainly in the rural areas around Congleton, is how are they going to get it above or beneath the River Dane, where which obviously snakes around through Congleton, around and about, and also things like the plant machinery for the project going up country lanes, because it is going across rural areas, and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big, long job as well, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I think the actual width of the track is not that. It's not. It's big. It's obviously bigger than the width of the pipe.
Yes.
But I think it's one of those. It's the actual construction or the laying of the pipe is the problem for locals. Once it's done, they won't see it.
Yeah,
and it'll be all grassed over.
Well, hopefully. Anyway.
yeah.
As long as it's cut and covered properly.
That's
I suppose.
right.
But like you say, it's the enormous disruption from start to finish, isn't it?
Is.
Even though that disruption will crawl along the route, it's not going to be in one place for years and years.
Yeah.
This is Congleton Chronicled with James Jackson and me, Mark Edwardson. Now, we're at TMC in Congleton. They very kindly let us use their TV studio. A near neighbour in Siena, the cafe, by the town hall.
Yes.
Holds a regular Sunday run, which I wasn't aware of, actually. But look at me, I should be
think they
there.
get quite a good turnout.
Surprised I didn't know about it, James. But, you know, good things are happening there, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're raising money for an extremely good cause, aren't they?
So like you said, Mark, the Siennas, they have a weekly Sunday run club, but the Sunday just gone, they dedicated it to raising money for a Congleton chap called Alex Garber, who is running the London Marathon. Right. I think it's on the 26th, Sunday the 26th of April this year, I think, later this month. And he's raising funds for the Sue Ryder charity, whose hospices cared for his father in his final days before he passed. And he's already raised about £4,000 towards it on his crowdfunder page.
Oh, good stuff.
But obviously he's a keen runner, training for the London Marathon, and he joined Sienna's Sunday Run Club on Sunday morning, and they chipped in, the runners chipped in a few £100, as did Sienna's as well. So, you know, fair dues to them as well.
Yeah,
as the picture shows, there's a good turnout as well.
That's a really good example, isn't it, of the sort of community activities that take place in this town.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice when I first moved here all those years ago was what a great community spirit and feel there is, and the organisations like the community project and the partnership and stuff like that. But then to see individual businesses and individual people doing the same sort of thing.
No,
I don't know what it is about this town. It just engenders that kind of thing, doesn't it?
Really, there's a real pull, isn't there, to help each other, really, and that's really good.
Yeah.
So it's that's a good positive story.
There is, and let's just give him another name check.
Yeah, it's Alex Garber.
Alex.
Yeah.
Good luck, Alex.
Yeah.
I hope you raise lots and lots of money for the charity. Excellent work.
Yeah, fair dues.
Yeah, fair dues to him.
Yeah.
James, thanks again. And also thanks to TMC again for hosting us here for an edition of Congleton Chronicled. Hope to see you next time.